impediments to growth. Impediments means the obstructions, the things that what's the word you said?
I said leggings.
Yeah. It will actually pull you down.
Blocks.
Yeah. One is attachment. I mean, just note that some of the things I said is a repetition, because the more I try to bring from various direction, it will add on what we heard. We talked earlier about comfort zone. The same thing. I think we did. So, impediment. One of the major obstacle to growth is reluctance to leave the familiar. We get attached to the situations where we are. So we have to give up something to take up something. Yeah. So that's why I got that picture. It's called the comfort zone, and you have to. That's not easy, because that's called the conditioned mind, our habits. Releasing something, leaving something which is familiar, is difficult. Because we all, most of the people, they might want to live and stay within that comfort zone, but the growth happens outside the comfort zone. That jump is not easy, but without that, we will not grow. We will remain where we are. There's a saying that says, it's safe for a ship to stay in the harbor, but the ships are built to go out in the open sea, battle with the waves and reach the other shore. It's safe for the car to stay in the garage, but cars are made to go out and go places. It's safe for the plane to stay in the airport, but planes are made to fly with the white clouds across the blue sky and reach the other continent. Man is made not to stay where he was born, but to go out and face challenges and reach places, reach positions. And that is called a fulfillment life. That's called a fulfilled life. We are like that. If you are too much concerned about safety, then what happens is growth will not come through. We have to give up something to take up something.
There's a story of the wailing dog.
Yeah.
Know the story?
Mm.
It's very much related to the comfort zone.
Yeah.
One guy went to the neighbor's home because he could hear the dog, howling.
Yeah.
In between this pain comes. And then, what's happening? This dog is, your dog, why it is always wailing? So, it was in fact sitting on a nail. Understand?
Yes.
So when it has some movement, it pains, and then it started howling. It should rather move away.
Yes.
But because of the laziness, it is still staying there.
Yeah.
And when pain comes, it wails,
Yeah.
and then goes back to the same situation.
Yeah.
So
That's our habit of people. We will rather stay in pain. We will stay in pain rather getting up and going out, and because we are so comfortable with the familiar thing. If we can, why you are saying this story, that elephant story? Remember? Oh, it's here. Yeah. So the second is resistance by the conditioned mind. Subconscious mind rejects thoughts, conflict, and conditioned habit. You remember we discussed this. So one of the impediments of growth is that, you remember, conscious mind think, this is feel, and it's bring vibration. So you think with the conscious mind, and thoughts, thinking is the experience of bringing a particular information, and you stay with that, and then the more you stay with that will be going down into the subconscious level as a feeling. We also discussed how that brings chemical changes. And when that feeling comes, The feeling expressed on body is called emotion, energy in motion, and based on our emotion, it leads us to action and it brings to result. That's how the whole thing, the result in our life, in a way, depends upon the thoughts that we pick up to. Now, we also learn the subconscious mind, especially, I mean, it has got its condition, it's also called the conditioned mind, which is habits, beliefs, opinions, etc. But from where this conditioning came? For the first 7 years of life in a human being, the child was in hypnotic state. You know what I mean? I say hypnotic state means you say anything, they will take it as truth. Because of the first 7 years, you don't have a mind that can evaluate. So you don't have a faculty or a screen or a filter that will evaluate information that comes into your mind. So the first 7 years, whatever is being heard. That's why all the time, most of the time, the kids will be taking up what they see around, what their parents are doing, what the community is doing. But unfortunately, these first 7 years, they get more negative information rather than positive. It was estimated that before the parents say 1 year, they say about 200 no's. No, don't do that, don't do that. So they are getting more of them. And then the whole community, the authorities, and whatever situations that was influencing us, neighbors, friends, all those things, they have a sort of downloaded information into our subconscious mind, because conscious mind was not there, and we created something called conditioned mind, which is called a self-image. What is self-image? Self-image is nothing but the conditioning that we were exposed to, as a result of which our beliefs, our opinions, our evaluation about ourselves, it all came from that way. And then from 7 to 12, you got a little bit of conscious mind being developed, and this in-between filter become a little bit active, and then you got, sometimes you can reject, but still up to the age of 12, you are just collecting information from the outside world. This is not yours. You are not responsible for that. But then from the age of 12 to about 25, 30, you still has got some, but then it's very difficult. The older you become, all those habits and beliefs and opinions and personality become so concrete, it's so difficult to change. So whatever life you become, if you are acquired it from the environment that you're growing up, it is not your fault. But it is your fault because you are listening to what we are discussing now. Because we know that the life that we are living is not the life that we wanted, but a life that is being downloaded upon us, forced upon us by the environment and the circumstances that we live in. We also know it is possible to change, and therefore now it is my responsibility to change myself. So let me repeat that. It is not my fault of who I became so far, but it is my responsibility now to change me based on the information that I have collected by now. Is it clear? Yeah? Any thought? So you remember that. So there's a harmony versus conflict. So this is here. It has got all this conditioned mind. And this conditioned mind, we also learn the feeling influence the thinking. What does that mean? That means if a thought comes into my subconscious level, and this is conflicting and contradicting the belief that I have acquired already, it will reject it. That is called a conflict. The moment you try to change, conflicts start, because the mind wants us to be in harmony. So we will pick up the thoughts based on what our conditioning is. we are happy, and that is called a comfort zone, isn't it? But then we don't want to think different from what we were conditioned to become. It's like we set this example of a radio station. No? There are so many radio waves, sound waves, and the older type of radios. And this particular station that we tune in, we listen to that song. So similar to, I mean, in this room there are so many waves, and depending upon the radio station and what particular station that you are tuning in, you will start singing that song or listening to that voice or the speech, whatever it is. So the radio station, it's not the radio is expressing itself based on the station that it has tuned to. We are nothing but a radio, because there's so much of infinite thoughts there, no? Positive thoughts, negative thoughts, thoughts of encouragement, thought of disappointment. But depending upon what thoughts we pick up, our life influence. And what is that influencing what thoughts we pick up? That conditioning. Are you getting the whole picture now? So there is all thoughts here, and this thought comes here, conscious mind, and the subconscious mind says, this is my opinion, this is my condition, this is my habit. And then the moment it is different, it will reject that thought. In other words, I will rather think the thoughts in harmony with my beliefs. Now you understand the difference. I mean, if you want to change the thoughts, you have to change the beliefs
Belief
first.
system.
You see the cycle, the catch-22 situation?
Yeah.
Because that's where the whole, I mean, we are discussing all those things based on that. Because unless we change our belief, unless we change our conditioning, then we won't be even able to change our thoughts. So we don't know actually, shall we change the thoughts first? Shall we change the beliefs first? You see the big picture. So by the time we study, think about it, reflect more about it, we will be able to see the whole picture now. And who brought that belief within us? And should we not question this and ask this question, who said my belief is right? Who said my habits are right, my opinions are right, my conditioning is right? Is it my conditioning that I am carrying, or this is somebody else's conditioning downloaded on me? So if I want to change, so maybe we have to start with our beliefs. And once you understand that cycle, then we will understand the whole thing. That's how we can get the picture clearer. So if you are thinking something different, that will become conflict, and therefore we are tempted to think the thoughts or pick up that radio waves, the thought waves, based on what we already been conditioned to. In other words, our beliefs, our opinions, our personality. This is what we heard. The word self-image is always there. No? Years back, they will tell you, and everywhere, in schools, in churches, in mosques, in all the community places, change your self-image. As if it is easy. No. Changing a self-image is not easy. It is not about pounding the podium and telling people to change. Now you know why it cannot change. Where we have to start with. So the lack is, okay, this already is a lack of purpose and plans. Man is designed as a goal-seeking mechanism. Have you ever heard about a book called Psycho-Cybernetics? Cybernetics? Okay. Because, cybernetics is a science where missiles and rockets that go to the space, or even the plane. Okay, let me put it this way. A plane that goes from from Qatar to London, the goal, the destination point should be set first. Yeah. And then when the plane goes, there's a mechanism that knows this is the destination that you have reached. But then the plane goes not straight, it goes in zigzag. It goes slightly left, and then the mechanism will say, come on. So it goes overboard, right? It goes, this is called a cybernetics. The thermostat in an air conditioning is a cybernetic system. If you put 22 degrees, it will never stop. I mean, it always varies. You know? You are not getting 22 constantly. It will go from 21 to 23, something like that. No?
The compressor shuts off for some time, then restarts.
Yes. Yeah. This is called cybernetics. The science of cybernetics was actually found studying man, because man is a cybernetic system, psycho-cybernetics. You have a goal and you go towards that, not in one single line, but you deflect a little bit and then you come back. And so that the first time we're talking about this importance of this goal. So if you have a goal and it's a very clearly defined goal, then you will deflect. It doesn't mean that just all on a sudden you are going there on a straight line, but deflect. That's why we say success is always through up and down. The very life is a cybernetic system. So what does that mean is that we have to go back to that goal-seeking mechanism. We seek the goal that we have defined. And if we don't do it, we will seek the goal that somebody else has set for us. Yeah. In other words, I think you missed it. Last week we were talking about the vibrations. Thoughts are vibrations. So if I want to leave from here to a particular place, and then this is called the departure point and the arrival point. Arrival point is in a particular vibration, but I cannot reach there at the vibration that I am, or the frequency I am at my departure point. I have to lift myself up to the vibration of the arrival point. Difficult?
No.
No? So in other words,
Vibration or frequency?
Yeah, both are same. In other words, frequency is the frequency is the totality of the vibrations that you are moving. Vibrations and frequencies are very close words in the sense our thoughts has got a particular frequency, but the vibration is that the chain of frequency that you are in a particular time. You will say this particular person has got a different vibration, vibe. But then the more you stay in that, you will understand my frequency of thought, my frequency of vibration. Radio, for example. That's also, the radio waves comes as vibrations. What do you call it? Frequency, no? 91.5. Frequency, FM, media, it's a waves. Yeah. Because why? Energy travels in waves. Yes. Energy is vibration, and the vibration that moves in is called the frequency.
The rate of movement is...
exactly. The rate of vibration is called the frequency. That's a better definition.
What is the story of the elephant?
Okay. You are not in the middle. Okay. Let's talk.